Alright guys, so welcome back to the vlog, and today it will be a race review video of my first 70.3 at Desaru. Alright, so I'm going to go systematically. What I'm going to do is I will talk about the morning of the race, and then I'll talk about setting up transition to the swim, T1, the bike, T2, and then the run. Alright, so let's go. Don't mind me getting a little bit comfortable. It took a while for this video to churn out is because I have been reflecting quite a bit on the race. It's a new distance to me. It's a new experience. So I needed some feedback from my coach. I need to think as well on the race, how the race went, how the process went as well. So a lot of thinking was involved, a lot of reflecting was involved, and I finally have the answer for you guys, or finally have the answer for myself. Right. So starting off the review, race morning itself, as you can see in the video, and then every time during the race morning, it's just me looking at my phone and eating my breakfast. So breakfast was absolutely normal. It was just my milk with oats, honey, and banana. So it didn't change for the past couple of days. So that was the constant. And of course, a cup of coffee. And yeah, so and just watching some like TikTok, like memes and stuff like this, just to get myself awake. Nothing too complicated. Nothing too. Everything was quite straightforward. For race morning. Then pack my stuff, and the only thing that changed was that like we had to have our bikes checked in a day earlier. So I fortunately enough, my friend Johnson was woke up early, just to fetch me down to the race and support me. So really hats off to him for supporting me throughout the race, and not only me and the rest of my friends as well who raced in Desaru. Yeah, so he was a huge help, a huge support. And then coming to reaching the race site. So the first thing I actually did was to set up transition first. So the difference between the short distance and the long distance triathlon was that everything has to be in the transition bag, and the transition bag was hanged just beside your bike. So whatever you're gonna use in your bike and your run, it has to be in the bag. Anything on the floor is considered a penalty, and your things like your helmet can be on the bike. So that's the only thing that didn't change from a short distance to long distance. So that's when like a lot of planning was involved in the transition bag. For example, like what I need to wear first. Yeah, so just this is just for demonstration purposes. So the transition bag. So like I would say, let me just put this here. So transition bag like this. So the shoes, I would say the less important stuff were like somewhere like below here. So the gels, the watch, the cap, and the sunglasses were all were put below, and then the shoes were more towards the top, and then the race belt, the shoes and the race belt were more towards the top here, and then I just have to hang it like this, like hang it on the transition like this, just beside my bike. So yeah, and then once transition was set up, I just have to walk around transition just to familiarize myself with the in and outs of bike and run, and then swim in, bike out, bike in, run out, just to make sure that I don't waste time in transition. And then next thing was warm up. So warm up, as you can see in the video here, just I was warming up actually in the expo, because Malaysia, I mean, it's like Singapore, hot and humid. Sometimes Malaysia can get a little bit more hot and humid as well. So I didn't want my core body temperature to rise up too high as well just before the race. So I decided to do warm ups, my activations and stuff like this in the expo itself, so that it's a little more cooler, so that I won't sweat as much, but still getting the warm up done. Yep. And then after the run warm up, going to the swim warm up. So swim warm up was a little bit more different. At the top of my head, I know that different times of the day pose different currents and different sea conditions. So true enough, the morning itself, the waves and the current were a little bit stronger. More pertaining to the waves. The waves were a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger as well. So for the So as you can see in the video here, I was doing a little bit more race starts, a couple of race exits. Just before the swim start, I did take about two gels. So it was two 50-gram gels. So it's about 100 grams of carbs just before the race. And then race start, as you can see in the video here, I was in the third. So it's a rolling start, and I was third in line to start. So it didn't take me long to get to the front of the race. So yeah, within like 100 meters, I was already at the front of the race together with an athlete. Me and him swam together majority of the way, and I only lost his feet before we hit that right turn back to shore, because one of the kayaks actually diverted me wrongly. It's not much of a big issue. It's a long distance race, so I lose just a little bit of time there, probably about 20 odd ish seconds, and then yeah. So I was second out of the swim, and then ran to transition. Transition was pretty smooth. All I had to do was just put on my helmet and start my Garmin. The rest of the things are already on the bike, so I didn't have to fumble around with my transition bag. All right, so next one is the bike. So it's a little bit more interesting, I would say. So the bike part was where it is one of the longest cycle I have in a race as well. So 90 kilometers. You will cycle out, do 2 laps outside and come back. The strategy was every 30 minutes I would take a gel, and then whenever I needed to drink, or whenever I think I needed to drink, I'll just drink my isotonic drink or water. So the first lap I didn't take any bottles from the aid station, so everything was just self-sufficient. Okay, so that's when like problems start to come. So the first issue I faced was my hydration system. Just to give you guys a bit of context as well. All right. Yeah. So this is my hydration system, as you guys saw before. All right. So the only issue I had was the hose. All right, was a little bit too long. All right. So just to show you guys, when I was in the position like this, all right, so a little bit more forward, all right. So whenever I needed to drink like this, okay, like this, okay, there were like vents, like this in the hose, and yeah, the water would kind of get stuck from the bends like this. So I needed to like sort of like put in effort to sort of like twist it around, like fumble around with the hose just to get a proper like drink from it, and that caused me quite a bit of discomfort on the bike as well. So, and sometimes it even caused me to get out of the TT position, to get the water from this hydration part. So this is something that I have to revisit again, just get more comfortable with this. Might even need to cut the hydration hose for to get proper hydration as well. So that's something that I need to look into. And then the second killer was that I on the second part of the run, that's where I realized that on the second lap of the run, right, that's where it got a little bit uncomfortable as well, because I realized that I couldn't stay in the TT position for long. That's number one. And number two, my like right lower back and my glutes started to tighten up quite a bit, and then I couldn't hold that position for long, and then I had to like every 5 to 6 minutes I have to like stand up on the bike just to stretch it out. Yeah, it's just because it was just tight and uncomfortable. That's about it. And then the third one was, I would say, but it pertained more towards the run because it affected me a lot on the run, which was the gels. So it's not about stomach discomfort or anything, but the timing of the gels. So I took one gel coming out of T1, and every 30 minutes I was taking a gel. And then I realized that I took my last gel on a 2 hour or slightly after 2 hour mark. And in the top of my head, I kept thinking that I was going to complete the bike at about 2 hours 20 minutes. So from the last gel I took from the bike, the next 30 to 40 minutes I didn't have anything at all. Yeah, so that's when I guess there was like a dip in energy, and that race started to get a little bit like hot as well. And that's when like even a little bit of dip in energy is quite a significant amount for someone that's racing a 70.3, because you're already about 2 hours and almost 3 hours into the race. Yeah, so that was quite detrimental on my end. So just to backtrack a little bit, T2 was absolutely smooth. Didn't miss a gel. Fast transition, socks, shoes, race belt. Um, while I was running out, cap, sunglasses, um, cap, sunglasses, gels, and my Garmin watch as well. Yeah, so sequence was good. But this is where, like I said previously, where my timing of the gels kind of backfired on me. I had like drinks and stuff, like isotonic drinks. I had like water, but I think like after I took the last gel on the bike, next 30 to 40 minutes, I didn't have anything as well. So I took a gel on the start of the run, but I guess it was a little bit too late as well because I needed time for the gel to kick in. So for the first part of the run, it was absolutely horrible. Like I can't. I'm not gonna lie. I really felt like giving up. I really just felt like stopping, and I really felt like just like DNF for the race. Super brutal and super mental at that point in time because the gels hasn't kicked into my system yet, and then like I felt so depleted. Like every aid station I crossed, I was walking, I was pouring the cold water on me, chugging the water down, and just uh whatever isotonic drink there is, I was just drinking, like chugging the gels down. So I chugged like one huge 50 gram cup gel and one 25 gram cup gel. Yeah, so this two on just on the first part of the run. Pace was out the window. I was on survival mode. Every time I hit a uphill, it was just an obstacle. You know, it's just mental. I was just trying to just keep my legs moving, and only at the end of the lap one, that's when like the gel started to kick in. I started to feel a lot better. So I dropped from position 3 off the bike. So when I came off the bike, I was position number 3, and then when I was running after the first lap, because I was just dying, like I fell back all the way until position 8, if I'm not wrong. So it's only when I started my second lap that's when I felt a lot better. The gel started to kick in. I started to have a better feel on the run, and that's when I started to like work my way up again. I caught up like a few others who overtook me on the first part of the run. So I eventually from 8th, I caught up to 5th, and then I finished in 5th, and also first in my category as well. Yeah, so a lot of pointers I would say to note from this race, which is nutrition is one. Number two is I definitely have to the front hydration system as well. The hose, the how the hose is like, maybe need to shorten it. Number three is my time trial position, just to see what is a better and more comfortable position, and also able to put out more power as well on the bike, which is quite important. And other than that, everything went pretty smoothly. The race went pretty well. I mean, I'm happy with the whatever I've done. I can't ask for unrealistic results as well, because I must understand that this is my first race. That's number one, and number two is that I got to juggle between my work and my races and my sports as well. So it's a little bit hard to hit those like ideal numbers, number of hours for training. So we gotta be a bit more realistic on our goals and expectations. So as I see more races to come, that's what I'm doing. One more 70.3 in September, 9th September, 8th or 9th, I don't remember, 8th or 9th September, which will be in Sunshine Coast, another half Ironman. So that will be a lot cooler. That will be a lot better. And hopefully I do a better time and yeah, get a better results. All right. So that's it for the video, guys. That's it for my race recap for Desaru 70.3 2024. And yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Of course, click it for more. Click it to subscribe. See you guys in the next vlog.